Hello, my little English ninjas. Today we are going to be looking at explanation texts. So what are they? What is an explanation text? Wonder if The Simpsons is a clue right there. So, what are they? Let's find out, shall we? Explanation texts tell the person reading them, the person that's reading them is called the audience, how something works or why something happens. Explanations detail and describe in the stages, okay? So we have to be careful because these aren't instructions on how to make something. What these do is explain how something works. So a really good example would be, how can you fly a hot air balloon? Because it's not telling me how to make one, a bit like a recipe, okay? But what it's doing is going to tell me how a hot air balloon works. Or it might explain to me why something happens. Like, for example, we could say, why does rain fall from the sky? And then an explanation text would explain exactly how and why it happens. Okay, so here's an example. What I want you to do is look at the layout. Now, what I mean by that is we've looked at play scripts, okay, and they have a set layout. We've looked at some poetry and that had a set layout. So what do you notice about these explanation texts? What do they all do? What do they all have in common? Okay, so put your thinking hat on and see if you can come up with some ideas. So this one is about how plants grow. So it's going to explain to me how a plant grows. The next one is how to fly a hot air balloon. What do you notice about the way that it lays out? What's different from the other styles of writing that we've already looked at? This one's about the water cycle, which tells us how we have rain. And it uses really big scientific words, which is super important in explanation texts. Oh, this one has steps because it's telling us the process. Okay. Here's another example. Oh, this one didn't have it, or this one, but what did this one have here that this last example has too? Pictures. So maybe explanation text need pictures. This one is linked to our topic in IPC, and this is what we're going to base ours on. Okay, we're going to base our explanation text on mummification, how we can make mummies. Okay, so let me tell you the features we need. If the text is an explanation text, it will have a clear title. It will have an introduction explaining the topic. It has these things called subheadings. Have you heard that term before? It puts whatever it's explaining in order. It sometimes uses diagrams, which is another name for pictures. It definitely uses big scientific words, and it's written in present tense. So let me show you what that looks like using the mummy example. Here, with orange, we have a clear title. The blue line is showing us our introduction. The yellow is showing us those scientific words. We have our pictures in pink. The green is what we call the subheadings. And what they do is they're like a mini title. That's what a subheading is. It's a mini title to tell you what they're going to talk about next. And then lastly, we've got the red, which shows us it's in order. And it's in order because look, it uses a brilliant starting word of firstly, next, the final. So I know that firstly means it must come first. Next means it's the one after, isn't it? So this is what we call a good explanation text. And over the next few weeks, we are going to create our own. So in order for us to do that, let's take a little look at what you need to do today. Today's all about research. What I would love you to do is to research and answer the questions, as well as ordering the mummification process. So let's take a look what that looks like. You're going to see this page, and on this page, you're going to have pictures and words, and I would like you to put them in order that you think mummies were made. Okay? So this one is about you having a read of the words and then moving the pictures into the right order. And you'll see that on Seesaw. Then I would like you to conduct some research, okay? And I would like you to answer the questions. What is the afterlife? You cannot guess and you cannot tell me from your head. You need to use the videos and websites to help you out, okay? Because I want you to come up with your own scientific words and knowledge to be able to tell me what these questions mean. So the first question, what is the afterlife? What are mummies? Could everyone be a mummy? Why did the Egyptians make mummies? What was the name of the process the Egyptians used to preserve their bodies? Why did they leave the heart in the body? What were canopic jars? Who was the god of mummification? And as you can see, there's lots and lots of useful websites that are going to help you out. So you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I have no idea who the god of mummification is. So you might go to Google and you might type in, who is the god of mummification? And whatever answer you get, you're going to write in this box. You can maybe add a picture and you can tell me all about them. When it says, what were canopic jars? You might need to research that. Canopic jars are da 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 da. Okay. So who's up for the challenge of researching? Let me hear you. Can I hear you? Yeah, great. So let me just rewind what you need to do. Step one is you're going to go onto Seesaw and you're going to put the mummification pictures in order. Step two, you're going to use some websites and research the answers to the questions. Last thing before I let you go, we are looking at explanation text. And what does that mean? That means a piece of writing that explains to us how or why something happens. Can you remember that for me?